Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you guys about why my customers blew so many auger belts even if their machine had been serviced here this fall. Now in this video I'm going to show you what happened, what the main root cause was of all these blown belts and how to prevent that. So in my last video I talked about shear pins, why so many customers blew shear pins. Well, they blew a lot of auger belts because of the same reasons: snow, ice, slush, etc. Now, replacing belts was the most common part that I replaced in the last 3 weeks. We've had 6 feet of snow here in a period of about 3 weeks. Some of it was nice and fluffy, some of it was wet, some of it had ice at the bottom, and then we got a thaw, and now it is like minus 15 to 20 Celsius here right now. So all that snow that was wet, it is turned into ice right now, so there'll be more machines coming in with blown belts. However, the belts are what took a beating. Like I mentioned, even if people had them serviced in the fall or even the week before, they came back with a blown belt. I want to show exactly what caused this, but first I want to show you the damage that was done to these belts. Alright, here's a fraction of all the auger belts that I've replaced in the last 3 weeks here in the shop. And again, it was only the auger belts that were mostly affected. Now what you'll notice with all these belts that had to be replaced is a distinct feature, and that feature is that they were worn out in one spot. Have a look here. This one too. The way you can tell that is that the inner part of the belt right here will be thinner than the actual rest of the belt. So this entire belt here is pretty wide underneath, maybe less than ½ an inch. But where it's worn, it's a bit less. So somehow the customer managed to still use this belt. It didn't burn right through like some of these ones did. And you can just imagine the smoke that was coming out of their machines, guys, because for a pulley to have actually eaten right through a belt like this, it requires a lot of heat and smoke. Now you guys must be wondering what the heck caused all these belts to be burned in one spot. And these are all different customers here, by the way, that these belts come from their machines. Well, what caused that is that the impellers in their machines were frozen, and they were frozen with ice and slush. So when I'm talking about the impeller, it's the part right back here, this one over here. So this thing turns, the augers turn with it. The augers grab the snow, throw it in there, and this part back here is called the impeller. It actually shoots it out the chute. So the big issue that happens, guys, especially when you have wet snow, is if you put your machine away and there's a whole bunch of snow in here and it's all wet, you put it away like that, what's going to happen if you have a snowfall in a week or two and it's really cold outside, that slushy snow that's in the impeller will be a frozen block of ice. This impeller here will not turn. No matter how hard you push on the auger lever here, it will not turn. You will see smoke coming out from over here. And what's happening is if it's not turning, guys, it's burning. The first sign of smoke, to prevent this problem, guys, you should just let go of that auger lever and immediately check your impeller. If the impeller's frozen with ice and hard snow, whatever is in there, just grab a heat gun, a propane torch, or even a hair dryer, heat it up, melt all the ice that's in there until you can actually turn the impeller. Now, don't do this when the machine's running. And I'm not trying to be smart here, but I did have some customers who were actually putting their hands in there when the machine was running. So please don't do that. It's not too smart, and you're going to end up losing a hand or some fingers or an arm. Now what I like to use is a torch like this. It's a propane torch. I'll just show you in the next video clip here how I did it on another machine that was in the shop. And here's a classic example with this machine here. You can see in the impeller there's been a lot of ice and snow. The impeller was frozen right down there. And have a look at the auger belt. So if this happens to you guys and you hit the auger lever and nothing is turning, it means something's burning. And the minute you hear some squealing or you smell smoke, let go of the lever. That way you can still save your belt. If your impeller is frozen, then grab a hair dryer or a heat gun and melt it down. Even a propane torch works. And you want that impeller to turn before you even start using the machine. So what I want to do here is show you with a pulley here. Let's pretend this is your auger pulley on the engine of your snowblower. When you depress the auger lever, the belt gets tight around the pulley and everything turns together, the belt and the pulley. That's because your impeller is not frozen. The minute your impeller is frozen, what happens is the belt will be tight on the pulley once you push down the auger lever. However, the belt will not turn. The engine will be turning and the pulley will be turning. So you can see here that it will cause a massive amount of friction, heat, etc. And eventually, as you see smoke and you smell it, your belt will get thinner like this. And if you keep going because you think it's going to eventually turn, you will end up like this. So the pulley at the end will just end up turning and your belt is fried. It's done. When you press that auger lever, the belt and the augers have to turn at the same time. If they don't turn at the same time, this is what happens. You burn your belt. Doesn't matter if you have a brand new belt from the same day, you can ruin your belt in 2 minutes. Now, what I tell my customers too is when you're done blowing the snow, what you can do is hold this down for about 20 seconds, even if you're not blowing snow, just in your driveway. That in itself will clear most of the slush or snow that is left in the impeller. And another thing that can happen, and I put out a short video the other day, is I had a customer bring a snowblower to the shop here. He said, you know what, this machine is vibrating like crazy. And it ended up being that the belt was chewed in one section, kind of like this one here. This is a 5/8 belt, but it's worn out pretty good in one spot. So every time this spot here goes around the drive pulley, just like this, when it hits the spot that's been burnt, it will cause a vibration in your machine. Now, even though the machine is blowing snow with no issues, you will still have a vibration in the entire machine because of the one worn out spot on the belt. And once you replace that belt, the vibration will be gone. So guys, once you know about this issue, it's pretty basic stuff. What you need to remember, if it's not turning, it's burning. All these parts have to turn in unison, or else they work against each other and it causes heat and friction and it will destroy your parts. And just to reiterate, the ways you can prevent this is keep your snowblower indoors in a heated shop, garage, if you can. Most of you don't have that. But if you keep it out where it's cold, make sure to clear out the snow from the impeller, whether it's slush or snow, before you put it away. If you leave it outside, try to cover it so that it doesn't get built up in there with ice and slush or snow. And when you go to use your machine, gently push on the auger lever. If you hear any squealing or if you smell smoke, stop right away. Grab your propane torch, hair dryer, paint gun, and melt all the ice that is in the impeller, and you should not have any issues at all. Once you get that impeller loose in there from all the ice, it will turn freely and everything will work perfectly. If I forgot to mention anything in this video, please comment below. I'll try to get to your comments, guys, but I'm extremely busy and it's a bit hard to answer all your comments, but I do appreciate you commenting and watching. Make sure you're subscribed, guys, and you have a great day.